Hello there, Paul here from the Open Mind Institute. I hope you're keeping well. I've been upkeeping cadence with these videos because right now, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people, a lot of professionals are struggling with respect to uncertainty, what that means for their job security, and also there's a shift in identity happening in the corporate landscape. And that's also correlating to uncertainty on an organizational level in terms of what that growth trajectory looks like and what the future holds with respect to the implementation of artificial intelligence. So my previous video centered on the core human-centric skills that are needed right now to work alongside AI. And I spoke about the importance of self-awareness and self-regulation. Now, the next human-centric skill I want to touch on in this video are two in nature, and that is emotional and social intelligence. So let's dive right into that. I'm going to put up on the screen the famous EISI quadrant popularized by Daniel Goleman. I've got AI on the brain, as do most of us right now. And you'll see that pop on the screen now. And I'm going to briefly guide you through what emotional and social intelligence is and basically how you can implement it and leverage it in your human ecosystem. So what you'll see there is the two quadrants on your left relate to emotional intelligence. Now, it starts with self-awareness and understanding what emotions are. And in essence, what they are chemicals, right? Hormones, energy pumping through your bloodstream to mobilize your body towards some sort of response. Now, what triggers those emotions into play, whether it's on one end of the pendulum, your dopamine, your serotonin, the elation we feel on the back of a win, or the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Whether it's a cocktail of cortisol or adrenaline. Irrespective of the emotion, it's usually triggered by something in our environment. So having that basic understanding as to how emotions work then puts you in the driver's seat to really regulate them, right? But we have to get to the point where we are recognizing emotions in real time, creating a degree of separation. So instead of experiencing, okay, I am frustrated in this moment, it's having the self-awareness to create a degree of separation and detach from the emotion. And it starts with a little bit of cognitive reframing to create that detachment. And we might use language like, okay, this is me feeling frustrated, but this too will pass, right? So it's really about knowing what triggers you, knowing your emotional responses, and then gradually, layer upon layer, being able to create a degree of separation. That then puts you in the driver's seat, that bottom left quadrant, to regulate. That's what I touched on in the last video, right? And something simple you could do is bring conscious breath work to slow down the amplification of cortisol pumping through your bloodstream. So I touched on triangular breathing, but you could do box method breathing or just consciously slow down the breath, right? And really control that out breath. And that'll also help to bring your prefrontal cortex back online, the executive function of your brain to make logical decisions to navigate the uncertainty. So that's emotional intelligence in a nutshell. Master that, you're now in the driver's seat to really leverage social intelligence. Now, social intelligence, if you look in the top right quadrant there, is about recognizing the emotions in others, being able to really read a room, being able to actively listen. Now, I know that you think you know what actively listening is all about, but I put it to you, it's not just nodding your head, right? It's about also actively listening for the internal bias or assumptions that you might have and how that's impacting your communication flow with your human ecosystem. And it's also, I believe, having a degree of empathy and understanding in this crazy, prolonged period of uncertainty that we're experiencing. So, really putting yourself in the shoes of the person you are communicating with. Absolutely integral. And then bottom quadrant is really important for leaders, and this is all about relationship management, right? So it's about building rapport, connection with the people in your team. So we can see the overlap here with social awareness. Um, and it's also about becoming that mentor, right? Becoming a little bit of what I do, and that is that coach to people who are going through periods of uncertainty, who aren't sure about the path ahead. So it's being that confidant, that coach in their corner to help people through this crazy period. And ultimately, it's about encouraging, I believe, authentic collaboration. If you're in a leadership position right now, you need to be consulting with your team. You need to bring them along with respect to the decision making, right? And that way, you're building a culture that is built on growth, a culture that accepts that failure is part of the journey, but a culture that's built on collectivism, right? We are one unit within an organization, right? Or even better yet, we are one family. And what do family do? They come together and they support each other during periods of uncertainty. So that's just scratching the surface with emotional and social intelligence. This is one of the core pillars that we deliver in our recent masterclass, which is all about navigating AI and the uncertainty that we're seeing right now. So I'll pop in the link for that as well. That's it from me in this video. Always keep an open mind, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.